What's up, my girl? How you doing?
Yay.
Sorry I'm a little bit late.
That's okay.
I had the meetings and stuff. Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
How things going?
Great. How are you doing?
Great, I can't complain.
Thank you for doing this,
Thank
by
you
the
for
way.
flying in.
Yeah.
I know it's not easy to get to
I
Pittsburgh.
did, huh?
I know it's not easy to get here.
I
all the
know.
time.
It's not that bad from New York. It's like an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You said that this is the place I want to be. When did it hit you? Was it a certain moment when it just crystallized? I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, I think there's two moments really, and both kind of simultaneously. When I got released, I was like, okay, here we go. Like, it's gonna be interesting. And several teams started calling and everything else. And then all of a sudden, my first call was with Mike Tomlin and Omar, and I got to talk to those guys. It was early in the morning, about 7:30 in the morning my time on the West Coast, and I got to talk to those guys for a while, and about an hour and a half, and just, I think Coach Tomlin and I, we have the same vision of ball, and the love for the game and the passion behind it and the obsession with it. And then after I had talked to Coach Tomlin and had a great conversation, I had about a 2-hour FaceTime with Cam, big Cam Hayward, and just talking to him about life, talking about legacy and meaning and all the things that he's done. Obviously, he was Man of the Year, a guy that I've always looked up to, a guy that I've gotten to play a bunch and go against, and just had a great conversation with him and just talking about the life of a Pittsburgh Steeler. And then I got to talk to TJ, and TJ and I, obviously Wisconsin guys and all that. We had some good conversations about that. But just he's a guy who's been great, a guy who's always, one of the best to ever do it. And I think that he's got the same vision of winning that I do and we do together. And then I got to talk to Minka. And Minka, he doesn't talk long, but he's like, hey, you like to compete, and that's all the things I love is practice and ball and getting after it and tough moments. And I think that we shared a lot of those commonalities. And I looked at C and I was like, I know where we're going. And this felt great, and it's been awesome since.
So you told Sierra right after that, a full court press from
Yeah,
the Steelers.
I tried not to show all my cards, but yeah, she knew and I knew, and it was just, it's just a special feeling, And I think we get to talk to legends of the game, guys like Mike Tomlin and Cam Hayward, and guys like T.J. Watt and a young legend in Minka Fitzpatrick. Those guys, they have they share a lot of energy, and a lot of thought process and a lot of meaning behind every day and what it looks like, and so it was cool.
What about when you first put the uniform on, or you threw your first pass? You're at Acrisure Stadium, the terrible towels. Like, I'm here, I'm part of this unbelievable lineage.
Yeah, I think that when I got to run out for my first game that I got to play in brought me chills. I've been able to play in every stadium in the National Football League, and play every team and everything else, and but when you play here, in Acrisure Stadium, and the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the all-time greats, and I'm getting to talk to Joe Green on the phone, and just guys I've gone against that are all-time greats, and you get to see guys like Palomalu walk onto the field, and just the passion and the fan base and the terrible towels. It's a special feeling, and so being able to run out of that tunnel and go win the first game and be here at home was really cool.
And it's so interesting because this is an opportunity that you never would have known that you could have had, right? That came your way. It didn't come your way, obviously, without some adversity and a couple of years there in Denver. How did you approach it when you came here? Not even being guaranteed to be the starter.
I think a big part of it is knowing that sometimes the best things in life are unknown. I think sometimes the things that are the most rewarding are the spaces and places that people doubt and worry about, and maybe they fear sometimes. Maybe other people don't believe in it for you. It's just like my whole football career has been that too, partially. Coming into the National Football League, a lot of people thought I couldn't do it or wouldn't be able to do it. Or
third round pick?
Yeah, and Seattle gave me a chance, and it was the best opportunity ever, man, just be able to play in Seattle for so long and all those years. And I got to go to Denver. The best part about Denver is I got to meet some amazing friends and teammates. I mean, just some of the best guys, that I know, and just guys like Cortland Sutton and so many others, guys like Tim Patrick and Garrett Bowles, just a lot of guys. But I think, a guy like Ray Jackson, who's, one of the most, I think, critical people there, and so you build these relationships and friendships. And, I got to see the Denver Nuggets win a NBA championship. That was pretty cool. But I think part of it, though, is in adversity, you can look at it two ways. You can let it scar you. You can let it, you know, hurt you to the point where you start believing what other people say.
Have you ever been to that point?
Absolutely not. For me, I just don't believe the negativity. Sometimes people allow that to happen, and I also knew the truth. The truth was, I got to Denver and played my first year. I had a torn lat and trying to play throughout the whole season. With my whole lat, my right side torn. And last year I played well, and I was, when everything happened, it was one of those things for me that, I remember going into that Buffalo game and I was told I was going to be benched for the next 9 games if I didn't, change my injury guarantee. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to play my best ball and not worry about the distractions or anything outside and keep it internal and just play ball. And I knew that may be the end in that moment. I didn't want to believe it, and I wasn't going to let anybody else feel it or sense it in the time in those games. But, the only guy that knew was Cortland. And I think a big part of it was understanding that there was still a mission to be done. And my belief is I was going to give my all to Denver when I had it and just give my all every day. And that's all you can give sometimes. And I think the big part of it was I knew that the next opportunity was going to come my way. When it did, I was going to make the most of it. And
what gave you that belief?
I just knew, because I knew I was healthy again. And when I'm healthy and I'm in my zone, I firmly believe there's nobody better in the world. And I think you got to believe that every time you step between the white lines, and not just because it's make believe, but because you've done it before. And number 2, because you work at it every day. And that work ethic and the obsession with the love for the game, and when you got great players around you, anything's possible. And especially when you got a guy like Coach Tomlin coaching you. And so I think a big part of it was I wanted to be in the right place with the right guys. And you got to go earn it every day. You got to go do it every day. You got to go, do the work. And that's the part that I love most. And the people that really know me, they know that. They know that I'm obsessed with it. And there's no off days. There's no in between. There's no this or that. It's just like, we're going to go to work today. And that's something that you can control. And I knew that I was going to be able to control that. And the next opportunity I was going to get, I was going to make the most of it. And so to be in the right place is always a good thing, And sometimes life throws you curveballs. And I remember coming here, and I remember before my first game, I wrote in my top of my game call sheet, and a big part of it was just joy. I wrote joy in the top left, and just knowing that, man, I get the best job in the world. I get to do what I love to do. And man, God, you brought me here. And I remember putting a little asterisk next to that word joy. And I said, just remember, they didn't move you, God did. And I just felt like, every time adversity comes in life, remembering that sometimes God, moves you to a new place and a new position just to bring you back up again. And every mountain you climb, every time you go up and try to climb a mountain, there's always going to be some stuff in between that knocks you off, and you got to just keep climbing. And I think that's been a big part for me.
I feel like I'm listening to the same guy that I met his second year in the NFL that said he wanted to bring a Super Bowl championship to Seattle, that was saying things like, separation is a preparation and no time to sleep. I feel like this positivity, this mantra of yours, it goes way, way back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think it's fake. And I think people think that, being positive all the time, like, how is that somebody? No, I just believe in great things. I believe in just having great faith and, believing by faith that all things are possible, and believing in the people around you, and believing in the work that you put in, and believing in great moments, because I've had a lot of great ones before. And sometimes when you've had a lot of great ones, you can visualize all the great ones, and the next one being the next best moment. And so I remember when we first met, it was in 2013, I think it was, and we had a chance to win a Super Bowl back in Seattle. I remember you and I were sitting in front of the Space Needle on the little boat, and we were talking about the opportunity of doing something special. And so It's a little deja vu. I don't know, but there's a lot more to be done, and that's the fun part. That's the journey. That's the challenge of it. Is understanding that there's obstacles in our way, and those obstacles are all opportunities. And when you believe that and you think that way and you have a heart of gratitude and you start believing that and start becoming that, and I just firmly believe that it's got to turn to good, and that's what we're going to do.
Do you still feel like you have something to prove?
I feel like that every day. I've always been that way though. I'm not sure if I'm trying to prove other people right or wrong or this and that. I'm just trying to prove myself right. And God gave me an amazing gift. He gave me big hands for some reason to throw a ball. He gave me the ability to move around a little bit and have a little fun out in the field.
Yeah.
That's the part that God gives us gifts sometimes that you just embrace and you enjoy.
So Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of Russ-isms. He's got a lot of Tomlin-isms.
Yeah.
Is there something that he has said that has just really stuck with you?
Yeah, he talks to the team a lot about A players playing A ball. That's one of the things that he tells us as a team, and just he has so many things that he says. But how there's two favorite things and two favorite moments that I've had so far is, every day, I get to meet with Coach Tomlin pretty much early in the morning. 7 a.m. we go meet, and just we have that one-on-one time, and then on Mondays and Tuesdays we kind of meet in the afternoon, me and him. And just some of the things that he sees on film and how he communicates what the other team is trying to do, defensively, offensively, everything else, and how he communicates that, and just the joy and the passion and the time that he sits in his little cave and we sit in there and watch film together. That's pretty cool. I think the other part to it, though, and when Coach and I have gotten to talk quite a bit, he said something to me and it hit me in that moment. That was really, really impactful to me. He said, Russ, I want you and I to be immortal to the game. And I said, what do you, he hit me with that. He said, man, what you've done, what you've been able to do, I want you to remember, that, man, you've been immortal to the game. Being a young black quarterback, you're the second guy to ever win a Super Bowl. Some of the things you've been able to do, being immortal to the game. And, me and what I want to be able to accomplish and the things that I've done, and him being, Super Bowl winning quarterback, one of the youngest coaches to ever do it, especially being African American, and the men that he gets to lead. And he said, man, baby, you just want to live, baby, just live. He always says, just live, baby. I think a big part of that is there's a connection there. There's a meaning there. I don't know if it's a Virginia thing, me and him both, but I've always regarded him as a coach, as a man, and as a father too, being able to watch him, and obviously having my little son Future, him running around training camp and everything else, and him wrapping his arm around him and teaching him the game, and allowing him to be he was one of the laundry boys, cleaning up the, this and that, being a ball boy too, and just, he was like, man, young man, he's growing up right in front of our eyes, and I just remember him saying that, and just his openness to be immortal to the game. And I think that's a special thing. And when he said that to me about, who he wants to be, who he is, and, who he envisions me to be and who I am and just everything else, and just, that was impactful to me.
It's very unusual for a coach to make a decision with a team at 4-2 to change quarterback. Even though he had said Russ is in the pole position, he was so consistent about that. And when you were healthy, you came back and led this team. What is it about his approach and the team's approach and yours and Justin's that just allowed everybody to pull in the same direction when that change happened?
Yeah, I think first of all, number one, Coach has always been very open with me and Justin, and communicating with me and him and his vision and all that about me and the player and Justin as well, and just our one-on-one, our conversations between the three of us and everything else. And I think the best part about it is that, when I was able to come here, and then shortly after, Justin and I were texting about, places this and that, and and he ends up coming here, and we were talking about him coming here.
You were texting before he came here?
Even before, we were just.
Because you're like, hey, where are you going to end up? I don't know.
Yeah, and we've been close, from a distance for quite some time when he was in college, and I'm a Wisconsin guy, so it was hard to cheer for him on Ohio State, but I as as a young black quarterback, I felt like there's a responsibility for me to, talk to other guys and I
You've
think,
always felt that way. You've said you want to help the guys that come after you.
yeah,
You were saying that back when you
yeah,
were first getting into the
I think
league.
it's something that it's an obligation to, and I don't want to hold my cards. I want to be able to help guys as much as I possibly can, and whatever it may be. And so, just being, an open phone for guys or whatever it may be. And so, Justin and I over the years have been close. And then, obviously when he came here, it was just a great opportunity. He was like, man, I'm ready to learn whatever from you and just get into it and just let's go after it. And, and for me, it was like, man, let's just make this team as good as we possibly can. I believe that anytime that you're the quarterback, it's, your job is to help, the Pittsburgh Steelers win. And I just believe that even if I'm not on the field in between the white lines, when I was injured, it was like, man, whatever I can do to help Justin, whatever I can do to help this football team win. And that was whether if it was me going up and down the sidelines, trying to be upbeat or trying to, talk to Coach Tomlin in the middle of the game, me and him talking about situations and what we're seeing and what may happen. And, whatever it is, I think all those moments are key. And I think one of the best things that happened to me, and maybe this is a kind of a weird way to look at it, but going to Latrobe and being out and being away about an hour outside of Pittsburgh and knowing that all those champions and all the winners have been there on that field and trained on that field, and you get hit with adversity. With my leg pushing the sled and everything else. When that happened, I was okay. How do I take this? What do I do with it? And I just focused on trying to lead and spend time as much as I could with guys and just get in my playbook and just spend a lot of time with that one-on-one. And there's this little spot in Latrobe that everybody kind of sits the back porch. I was like, man, let me just play some Uno with some guys and sit on the back porch and let me do the things that, sometimes when you're rolling and you're doing, all the quarterback stuff and getting ready for the next day, this and that, you may not have that time to do that. Or let me tell guys about, guys were asking me, man, Russ, you're the old head now, you're OG, and tell me about this story, this game, or tell me about the game that you threw 5 touchdowns, this or that, whatever it is. Tell me about the Super Bowl and tell me about those moments and tell me about life, tell me about family, the highs, the lows, all of that stuff. And then getting to know guys too and hearing their stories. And like I said, talking to Coach Tomlin and how he got in love with football and how, how he was, a stepson, all these different things, and then him talking about Tony Dungy in particular. When Coach started talking about his relationship with Tony Dungy, that moment was really cool for me too, and seeing, how his growth in the game, where that really came from. And so,
So it allowed you the space to really be a leader, to get to know the guys, where maybe if you hadn't been injured, you wouldn't have had that opportunity. That's
yeah,
how you're
I think
looking at it?
I think you're able to just focus on it a little bit more heightened. When you going into a place and space, and you're just in the playbook and you're learning and you're doing all that stuff. That's great and that's important. But just being able to sit with a rookie and play Uno and talk trash to Frazier, Zach Frazier, and talk trash to him, and trying to be in his head in the middle of an Uno game just to see if he would break you or whatever, and
Just a little
yeah,
competitive.
just a little,
That's
little
all.
competitive, a little competitive fun. But I'm always competitive in those things, and it was just fun, those moments. And I think also too, even though I'm going through a battle in this very moment of back then, it's like, what, let me try to bring energy to the training room and the space and the places and the pool. We have a pool in there. I get in there, swim early in the mornings, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and put I call my restoration playlist on, and and guys hopping in the water. Let's go, come on, let's have some fun while doing it. And just, I think those moments and those bonding things, and yes, that could have happened if no injury happened. That would have, I'm sure, but to be able to be heightened focused on that, because that you're not going to be able to do as much for the next several weeks. All right, let me just grow in this. And I think that in the midst of adversity, it's only temporary. Adversity is only temporary, and so how you adjust is always important.
You finally get to start in week 7. And I guess it takes about a quarter or so to get your sea legs. And then towards the start of the second quarter, right, that moon ball,
Yeah.
that beautiful moon ball to George Pickens. And that Seems like just at that moment that ignited everything with the offense.
Yeah, I think getting my sea legs was key in the first moment. It was just like it was like having run around here in 6-7 weeks or whatever. So let me get going. And then when George Pickens caught that go ball, and then next thing you know, we started making some huge plays. So all right, I'm back. I think there was a moment where I did a little naked. I had to stop on a dime and kind of threw it underneath, and I threw it to Pat, and I was like, okay, the guy was right there, and just kind of. I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm good. And I think those moments sometimes just playing ball and just being in the moment of playing ball. And I kept telling Coach Tomlin, my coaches, I was like, man, I'm about to get hot. I'm about to get hot. And it's just, it's just a feeling that you have, and you know it, and you feel it, and I think that was key.
So now, the Steelers, we all know, have been looking for a receiver, right? And in comes Mike Williams.
Yeah.
How does he fit into what you love to do as a quarterback?
Well, I think that we got a lot of talent in that position now. Guys we've had, obviously Van Jefferson has done an amazing job. His ability to make some great catches so far, his consistency in practice. Calvin Austin, he reminds me of Tyler Lockett a lot, to be honest with you.
Really? Wow, that's some high praise.
Yeah, both similar personalities. Unbelievable dudes, humble, but work their tails off every day. They got some special gifts, and Calvin's, you saw that in the punt return, you saw him in the touchdown. He's got some great ability in what he can do, and I love his attitude and his mentality. Obviously, George Pickens is, he's a freak of nature. I don't know, how he catches the football. But we got some guys that have played some big football. Guys like Scotty Miller, who you caught a big, go ball for Tom Brady in a big NFC game, playoff game. Just we got some guys that we trust and we know. A guy like Brandon Johnson I've played with, but Mike Williams is a guy he's had 3,000+ yard seasons since 2021. 2021, 2022, 2023. I believe, and just he's a guy who's got some amazing talent. I think he goes up and gets it though. He makes some free catches. As he had one today in practice. He does some things that are very unique. But it's not just the deep stuff in between. He runs great things across the field, in the middle of the field. He's not afraid. He's a guy who's a baller. And so we're excited to have him as an additional piece for us and what we can do on offense. Obviously, our run game starts with Naj, and Big Naj is running that ball. Man, I think he's got 3 consecutive 100+ yard games. We got to keep him hot and running downhill. And Jaylen Warren, he's unbelievable. I think he's one of the hardest guys. He's like a bowling ball. I don't know how you tackle him. And then CP coming out of the backfield, Hall of Fame, football player. So we got some talent, and I think we add Pat Fryermuth in the tight ends and Big Darnell. We got some guys that can do some things. So we're excited.
When you won your Super Bowls, you won it with great defense, with the Legion of Boom, and here the commitment to defense has been from the Steel Curtain all the way till now, the TJ Watt era. We'll just call it that, right? What does it mean for you as a quarterback to play on a team with that kind of commitment to defense?
I think to have all 3 phases, be tough, to be nasty, and to be physical in that sense is key. And it all starts with the defense, in my opinion. When your defense is as nasty and tough as our defense is, it gives us a chance every week. First of all, I think. I've been around some great defenses, obviously, Legion of Boom and those guys, man. I remember our competitive practices and the things that we would get after, and just the love and the passion behind every walkthrough, every drill, and we got that here. And the guys like TJ, guys like Cam Hayward, guys like Mika in the back end, we got a lot of talent. Guys like Queen who've been in some great defenses, and I think D. Elliott has played some amazing football for us. He's just a tough dude. And so all of that, transfers to up front with our offensive line and our running backs, and just how tough those guys are daily. And so it all works together as one. And then we got Danny as a special teams coach. It all makes it fun. And
he sure does. Yeah, your special team celebrations are epic.
So I think to win it all, you got to be good at it all, and you got to be great in most areas. And so I think the big thing is that I think that we're really good at it all. But we got to be great in most areas, and I think that's what we're searching for every day. That's what we're yearning for, and we got the ability. And the biggest thing is potential doesn't just means that we haven't done it yet, and we got several games ahead of us that we got to go do and go take, and it starts with this week.
You've got the third toughest remaining schedule in the NFL. You're going to finish up against the NFC East. You've got your own division. Why not just throw the Chiefs in there for good measure? There'll be opportunities to go from good to great. How does that process happen? You've been to 2 Super Bowls. You know what it takes.
Yeah. I think the first thing is you got to be in the moment today. Today has got to be the only day. It's not tomorrow. It definitely isn't yesterday. It's just being right here, right now, being where our feet are. I think that's the fun part about this game. You embrace that, you enjoy that part of it. I think the second part of it is that you got to look forward to the big moments. There's all a collection of great moments, and when you get all those great moments and you add them together, one play at a time, there's going to be 75 great moments a game on offense. That's how you got to believe it. You got to see it that way. And I think the other part of it too is that we got great players, and they know it too. And I think that's kind of got to be your little bit of your mentality is that we got to play them, but they got to play us. And part of that is that you got to have that edge. You got to bring it with the right mentality, and just trust in what you know, and trust in how we prepare.
You were such a sensation when you came in the league, and Jayden Daniels is that.
Yeah.
And you as one of the great dual threat quarterbacks in history.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what he's able to do, just what are your impressions?
Man, this guy's done some special things. I think I got to meet Jayden at the Fanatics party before the Super Bowl, and I was around him. What I noticed, and I'm always observational, but what I noticed was just
that's why I asked.
His poise is just he's got even around certain stars, certain superstars, you kind of get a feeling of their presence, and when they walk in the room, how it changes the room. And I think he's got a certain poise to him, confidence to him, which is great to have, especially as a young guy. And the weight of the world is on your shoulders a lot of times. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of things that you're trying to accomplish, and people are expecting you to accomplish. Man, this guy's he's been special every time he touches the football. So we got to slow him down. Obviously, it's not an easy feat, but he's done a great job of leading that team, and I know he's got a great leader in Bobby Wagner on the other side that I've been around.
So you know a little bit about Bobby Wagner, right?
Bobby and I just, they gave us an F grade when we came into Seattle in that draft class, and we said we're gonna change that. We're gonna make sure that every day that we bring it, and we're gonna be the best that we can possibly be. And so, Bobby and I always say, don't get bored with consistency. And I think that's, I know Bobby's bringing that for him, for that team. I know Jayden's gonna follow, Wags is a good person to follow, and, but it's gonna be a great battle, and, it should be a good matchup.
Off the field, you've got 4 kids in your household,
Yeah.
and your wife, Sierra, has a huge career, massive. How do you guys balance all of that with what you're doing, what she's doing?
Yeah, balance is always tricky. I think the best thing is priorities. I think just, putting God first in it all, and knowing that, he's blessed us with so much, and so much opportunity. There's highs and lows in it all, and all that as you're going through football and music and life and all that together. But we get to do what we love. Every day I get to wake up next to Sierra, and we get to laugh and think about, man, just God, look what you've done. You have 4 beautiful children, future Sienna, Wynn, Amora, and just that's been fun. I'm working on the 5th. I'm trying to get her,
Okay, I saw you post on Instagram, because a beautiful picture of her, as all hers are, and you're like, I'm ready when you are. We can call him Cinco.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
So you're.
Yeah.
That was nice. What was her response?
Cinco started trending, I think. I don't know. But
what was her response to that?
She's like, okay, maybe we consider. But
I was like, thanks a lot.
Yeah. But I think a big part of it is just, sports and music are the 2 most entertaining things in the world, and we get to do it every day.
Yeah.
And I think, the part is that, I'm definitely Sierra's biggest cheerleader, and she's definitely mine, and I think that part is always fun, to have 4 beautiful kids that, they love sports, they love season music. I mean, we're just having fun every day in that sense. And that part's cool to be able to raise, 4 awesome kids together.
You accomplished so much young, right? Now you've got kids. You said future, he's there at practice.
Yeah.
Like he totally totally gets the whole thing. So what are you thinking about now in terms of sort of what you want to do now that your kids are more aware of what you're doing and how long you want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to play another 5 to 7 more years. I think that's always been my goal. I've been very clear about that since the beginning. I think that's always been my mindset is, the longevity of the game. And, I've been fortunate to be able to play, I don't know, probably 200 plus games and really not miss many. This little calf kind of got me here for a little bit.
True, you're like one of the healthiest players in the
Yeah, so
NFL for a long time. You're going to be
I feel,
36 this
yeah,
this month.
I
Yeah.
feel great. I feel young. I feel still like I can move around out there and make all the, decisions and all the throws and throw the ball where I need to throw it, So, but, I think a big part of it too is just, my focus in here right now is winning this week. And then hopefully winning the next one, and then one after that, and one after that. And then, get to the end of the season, hopefully we're holding something that's we'll forever remember. And so I had a goal of winning a couple more. And, that's why I came here.
This is it's an odd situation. It's a 1 year. You come here on a 1 year contract, and in that sense, here you are betting on yourself, right? And what you can accomplish here. How much do you let yourself think about beyond this year?
I never really thought, past, the years most of the time, when I'm playing. Anybody knows I'm so engulfed in the moment. I think it's so critical to be that way because it's too hard to think about, what's ahead or what's behind. It's just being right here. You get the hardest position in the world every day. You gotta be in the moment right now. And so for me, you mentioned betting myself. Yeah, I think I've always done that though. When have I not? I just think a big part of it is just, seeing the vision, knowing what it looks like, knowing who you get to do it with. I get to do it with some of the best guys in the world every day, and that makes it fun. And embracing that part of it, and leading in that part of it, and loving that part of it, and learning in that part of it, and just and shining in that moment too. And just knowing that, all right, let's go for it. And you'll never make the shots you don't take. You'll never make.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You're obviously known for your deep throw accuracy, and that's a thing that just terrifies everybody that faces you. What's a perfect moonshot? Like, can you describe it?
I don't know, throw it up there, throw it up to the sky and let it touch the stars, touch the moon and let it fall down. I don't know. I try to, give our guys a chance, and let them know that I'm going to give them the best chance possible. I don't know. I don't know when it all started. I guess when I was young, I used to throw it up high, and then, and then in high school, college, and, get in the National Football League, just got some great receivers, man, just make some great plays. And we got some guys that can really catch it, and so, yeah, I think throw it up to the moon and let it come down.
What does that do for an offense when it's successful?
Yeah, I think it's just exciting. I think it's exciting for everybody, on offense, the whole team, but really, the fans love it too. Just everybody loves a good deep ball down the field. But I think that for me, I firmly believe in the versatility of the game. You don't want to be a one-trick pony where it's always down the field. We want to be able to, as offense, I think Arthur Smith's done a great job of putting us in great positions to get the ball in the flat, to get the ball over the middle, to get the move on the edge, to run the football downhill, to play action, to screen it, to throw the ball down the field and hit all the plays. And we want to be good at it all. I think that's really critical. And we got playmakers that can make plays the way that we got guys that can make plays and make great catches and do the things and toe tap the way George Pickens knows how to, or whatever it may be, or catch the deep ball like Van and Calvin. It's just, it gives us great confidence. And when those guys are doing a great job up front, blocking and giving us enough time to do it, it's always fun.
Sometimes I just feel like you must be thinking back on your time at Wisconsin, right? And fighting your way through that depth chart and going into Seattle and doing that. And then you're thinking, well, I've accomplished all this in my career, and here I am doing this again in some sense. What's your perspective on that?
I don't fear anything. I just love in the moment, love the moments, love in the moment, love the obstacles. Like, I just love adversity. I don't, maybe I'm sick and weird in that way, but I just love adversity. I love,
For how it tests you?
yeah, and how it molds you, and knowing that you're going to come on the other side of it. It's like, we're going to win. Like, that's got to be your mentality. You're going to win today. And just that's a big part of it. And that's why I love 2 minute. That's why I love when the game's on the line and everybody's, down by 6 and you got to go win it. Like, I just firmly believe more times than not, we're going to win it. And I think when you have that mentality and you see it and you believe it and you do it over and over, why wouldn't we believe it? So those are the things that I think, the experience helps, but the belief helps just as much. And I think that's a key part to it all.